You're irrelevant.
Mr. Bannon.
Dirty rotten traitor.
There you are. I think it's dirty.
You're irrelevant, Bannon. You're a traitor to this country.
Thanks, fans.
The judge issued his ruling today on one of the outstanding motions, the motion to dismiss.
You're a traitor.
It was a very technical decision, saying that he's limited with respect to a motion to dismiss to the four corners of the indictment. He's shown once again that he's a very thoughtful judge. He comes in very well prepared. He's aware of the issues in the case. We've preserved our position on the issues, and that's what makes horse racing. We look forward now to the trial, and the trial's coming up relatively soon. At that trial, as you may know, we've issued 16 subpoenas to every member of the committee, to their staffers, to Speaker Pelosi, Mr. Hoyer, Mr. Clyburn. We want to hear exactly what went on here. Why is it that Mr. Bannon was singled out and targeted for criminal prosecution against all of the decisions from the Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel once executive privilege has been invoked? The law is clear that a former president can invoke executive privilege. The facts are clear here that former President Trump invoked executive privilege with respect to Mr. Bannon. The Department of Justice opinions themselves say that if you actually want to get the testimony, you would go with a civil enforcement proceeding. Mr. Bannon offered to go before a judge, have a judge decide whether privilege was valid and validly allowed him to avoid compliance. The committee chose not to do that. They chose to go to try to make an example, to intimidate, and so on. We're seeing now every day new press conferences from the committee indicating that their goal here was to expose things. Well, that's what the Supreme Court said their goal cannot be. That their goal here is to refer for criminal charges. That's what the Supreme Court said the goal of a proper legislative purpose cannot be. So we need to find out a lot more about that. And we look forward to getting Speaker Pelosi on the stand and so on. As you may know, or you may not know, the House has moved now to quash each of these subpoenas. House counsel, Mr. Letter, made himself a witness in this case. He gave a statement to the FBI indicating that there is no ranking member on this committee. That position now changed in his amicus brief, and he said in the amicus brief that Liz Cheney, of course, is the ranking member. The problem with that is he said otherwise earlier, and maybe a more significant problem is Chairman Thompson has said expressly Liz Cheney is not the ranking member of this committee. These are all issues we're going to have to deal with. Many of the issues now on the legal defenses will become jury issues. We look forward to presenting those issues, and we look forward to examining the members of Congress. I have to say this, though. There is a certain marked hypocrisy and irony for the members of this committee to have referred Mr. Bannon for criminal prosecution for not complying with a subpoena when executive privilege was invoked, privilege that only the former president or the current president can invoke. Mr. Bannon's hands were tied. They referred him for criminal prosecution under those circumstances, and now they're trying to evade coming before the committee to testify themselves, relying on a speech and debate clause privilege themselves. There's a certain hypocrisy there. The information and the testimony that the members of that committee in Congress hold belong to the American people. The American people deserve to hear that testimony. Again, last point I'd like to make. Think about the composition of the committee. It is a complete sham. The American people deserve to find out what happened on January 6th. If you're interested in finding out what happened, one of the last people that should be appointed to be the chairperson would be Chairman Thompson. He filed a lawsuit before becoming chairman in which he alleged what happened on January 6th. He alleged that former President Trump was responsible, and he alleged that he was personally injured by that. That's not the kind of approach we can have for an investigative committee. Members Raskin and Schiff have written books that they're hawking now, in which they make conclusions about what happened on January 6th. Again, clear conflicts of interest. If the American people want to know what happened, you don't compose a committee of people who have made prejudgments they've announced and who have a vested interest in ensuring that the committee comes out with the conclusions that meet their prejudgments.
Mr. Bannon.
Okay, I just want to say I look forward to having Nancy Pelosi and little Jamie Raskin and Shifty Shift in here at trial answering questions under the tough thing about my lawyers. Also, you saw last night in the Rio Grande Valley, this Democratic House is gone. They're going to get wiped out this November, and we're going to have a real investigation. The new House is going to have a real investigation. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Every involvement of the FBI, every involvement, every FBI asset, what happened to Ashley Babbitt, all of it. It's all going to come out, and it's going to come out starting next January. Thanks.
Mr. Bannon, why do you continue to push the violence?
You're a traitor to this country.
I tell you what, hey, hold on. Hey, do me a favor. Get this guy. I want to sit down with you this week for 2 hours and go through all the evidence. Okay? Friday. Done. All right. Done deal.
The judge just said that the committee gets legitimate. That's not a motion to dismiss. How can you keep saying?
Hold it. What I'm saying is, hold on, we're going to argue in court about that. Instead of motion to dismiss, we're going to argue its legitimacy. And the American people on November 8th are going to vote on the legitimacy of this committee. You saw what happened in the Rio Grande Valley last night. An 84% Hispanic community voted these guys out 52-48. The Hispanic community is going to vote for us over 50%. The African American community is going to vote for us over 50%. We're going to blow out this Congress, the Democrats.
You're a clown.